go scuba diving, right? All of those are lifetime experiences that they want to experience. So if you see, the goals are changing today, right? In fact, my research work is also on this, that how the goals are changing and what are the factors behind it. What were the goals of people earlier? Very common goals you can tell. You get educated, right? You go to college. Guys, you go to college like a very normal person, and like many of you feel, you get a job, you start earning, that is one goal. Then you settle down, you get married, you want to buy a house, you want to buy a car, you want to get your children educated, you want to get them married, right? These were the goals. What are the goals you think is in today's generation? They want to get educated, they want to have a good job, good salary, till then is fine. Do they want to get married today? Do they want to, even if they get married, do they want to have children today? They don't mind having a pet, but they don't want children, right? Do they want to own a house today? Again, there are exceptions. Many of them don't want to own a house. They are fine renting a house, why? Because they want to travel around. They don't want to be in the same job for a long time. You want to switch jobs soon. Why? So that you get a chance to travel around. Right? The goals are changing. Guys, are you understanding what I'm saying? So with so much of changes happening, it is becoming all the more important for you all to know more about personal finance. How is it that now you can take hold of your finances so that going forward it does not become difficult for you? Okay? Yeah. So now you would say, so how do we do it? Right? We've spoken so much of gyan about all this. Why you should know, why it is important, all of that forget. How to get started? How will you get started? Hypothetically, okay, many of them don't have. Imagine, guys, imagine you have 5,000 rupees today. Okay? Every one of you have a paper and pen with you? Yeah? Guys, write down your expenses. What do you think are your expenses in a month? I want you all to write down. Think of this as an activity. Okay, if you have your phones, make a note in your phones. That's fine.
Phones, ma'am.
Don't worry, I will not ask you what is your expenditure, but I want you to get into the habit of writing. You can write in your phone as well. Are you discussing your expenditure with each other?
Yes, ma'am.
Each one will have a different expenditure. Guys, I give you 2 minutes. Write down your expenditure, what you can think of. Your monthly expenditure. Anyone staying in hostel?
Capital expenditure.
Huh? Anyone staying in hostel, or all of you belong to Bangalore? All of you are from Bangalore? I give you a minute more to write down your expenditure. You don't have to think too hard.
Amount is too much. Yes, ma'am. How much? 5,000 is less.
Forget the amount what you are getting or what you are doing. Just write down the expenses.
Done, ma'am.
Done? Huh? Per month. I want you all of you to write your monthly expenditure.
Monthly, ma'am.
Monthly on an average. It will make sense only if you write your monthly expenditure. Guys, it can be an average amount, may not be the exact amount. Okay? Like for food, if you're spending, okay, after your college hours, you go to have an ice cream or a chaat or whatever. If it is 50 rupees in a day and you feel that probably you go out 6 to 7 times or 5 times in a month, so you do that calculation. Done? Most of you are done? Okay, give me 3 broad categories of expenditure. Travel. Okay, yeah, I agree. Travel, food, recharge, all 3.
Yearly, ma'am.
Not yearly, monthly.
Recharge is on only.
Recharge you're doing, someone has written monthly. Okay, you deduct it to monthly thing and you run. Okay? Any other expenditure?
Grocery.
Petrol, okay, fuel. Because many of you have 2-wheelers, fuel. And I think all that will come in travel, commute. Okay? Ola, Uber, petrol, bus, recharge. Anything else? Anything else? That's it? Those are major expenditure. Now, guys, tell me something. Food, what do you have?
Homemade.
No, this is the expenditure I'm talking about. What you put under food. Right? Guys, listen carefully. Food is an avoidable or unavoidable expenditure? Unavoidable. Categorized into unavoidable. Now, all the expenses that you have written, categorize avoidable, unavoidable. Let me see how you do that. Avoidable and unavoidable. What is the unavoidable expenditure here? Unavoidable. Food, you're going out, you can avoid it. If need be. Okay? Commute is unavoidable. Right? Recharge is unavoidable. You have to get your phone recharged, otherwise you can't survive. Okay, it is like breathing air for you. Right? Any other expenditure you have written? Shopping, clothes, all that will come under avoidable. Right? So your first step starts here. That, guys, your first step in personal finance starts here. Make a habit of writing your spends. Okay? Not that just because today you have attended, tomorrow you'll go and write and next month you'll forget.
Yeah.
Please make a habit of writing your expenditure month on month. It may seem boring, guys, but believe me, this will go a long way to help you plan everything. So the first step is write your expenditure month on month. Every month, okay, after you write, at the end of the month, split it into avoidable and unavoidable. Okay? Next month, try to reduce your avoidable expenditure. Right? Imagine each of you get money from your parents or you have some part-time income. Someone doing part-time job. Okay? When when you reduce your avoidable expenditure and you are able to save a little more. Okay? Suppose you are saving 500 rupees in a month. Next month you challenge yourself and you feel, let me cut down this expenditure and try saving little more. Look at the amount of satisfaction you will have. So start doing that today. How are you able to spend when you're not getting money? Parents are spending for you directly. Okay, how many of you have a bank account? Bank account?
What up online?
Guys, opening a bank account, you don't need your parents to be there. All of you are 18 plus. Okay? I think the first step should be open a bank account. All of you are educated. You all know how things work. Everything is done in matter. All of you have a phone, right? Then opening a bank account is not a big deal. Open your bank account first. Write down your expenditure. Segregate unavoidable, avoidable. And when I say 50, 30, 20 rule, what does it mean? What does this mean? Yeah, I can also read that essential bonds. What do you mean by it? Correct. This is what we discussed. Unavoidable, avoidable. Okay? So when you are writing your expenditure, budget it accordingly. 50%, imagine you have 5,000 rupees today.
Yes, don't talk.
Okay? Guys, take this as a case. Imagine you are earning 10,000 rupees.
Yeah.
Okay, if you have 50, 30, 20 rule, how much will you allocate for unavoidable? 10,000 rupees, how much will you allocate for unavoidable? Unavoidable 50%. Okay? 5,000 you will give for unavoidable expenditure. 30% you will have for wants. Like, once in a while, order from Swiggy, go for a movie, once in a while. So keep aside 30% for it. At least the 20% you should be saving. Are you able to get my point? At least 20% of your salary or income or whatever, you should be saving to start with. The more you are able to save, the better it is. But I am giving a threshold. At least 20% of it. Any questions till now? Before we move to the next slide. Guys, any of you have any questions? Are we clear with expenses and budgeting? Are you able to understand? You have to write down your expenditure. Now you don't have money, but whenever you have money, you are able to earn something. Please split it and save something. How to invest? I'll come first. You learn to save. First you learn to earn, learn to save. Then I'll come how to invest. I'll come to that later. Okay? So you've done your expenditure. Now you are saving. Okay? The next step is saving. Saving an emergency fund. So save early, save regularly. Not that just because I'm telling you today, you will save today, then you will forget. Imagine you all are earning. You have a salary coming. It is not that 1 month you save, next month you spend the entire thing. It does not work that way. You have to regularly save, which is why they give 20%, so that at least 20% you are able to save regularly. Guys, you can start with as low as 500 rupees. Start saving 500 rupees every month and see the difference it makes. And there is something called an emergency fund. Okay? Why do you think you require some amount in emergency fund? I've already given you examples, so most of you will know with it. You have a laptop, you have your phone, there will be your phone repair, which is unexpected. Yeah? So when you get your phone repaired, who is funding that money? Parents are doing right now. Later on, who will do? You have to do, right? If you have a laptop going forward, the laptop suddenly crashes. Okay? Who will spend on the repair of the laptop? You have to spend. So which is why it is so important that you reduce your avoidable expenditure so that you have some fund as an emergency fund which you never know when you will require. Suppose you are having a job somewhere out in Bangalore. Okay, you are staying in a hostel, a PG, or if you're going for your master's somewhere, there is some health issues, you have to go to the doctor. All that is unexpected. Sudden travel is unexpected. So some fund you have to keep aside for all these emergencies. Got it, guys? Now as a student, like I said, start with, now how much of it that you think should be kept as an emergency fund? Okay, that also is a question. So if you look at your expenditure, start with at least 1 month of your expenditure. Suppose you are spending 2,000 rupees in a month. Okay? If you are spending 2,000 rupees in a month, at least save or keep aside 2,000 for an emergency fund. So it is usually 1 month. If you are able to do 2-3 months, all the more better. Got it? So the first thing, make a list of your expenditure, budget it. Okay? First thing is you have to keep aside 1 month of your expenditure as an emergency fund. Got it, guys? So don't save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. Got it? This is a very important quote. First, save. Keep your saving aside. Then you spend. Don't spend and then you think whatever is left I will save. Now comes investing. Right? Most of you are interested in learning to know how to invest. Why should you invest? Why should you invest, you think? To grow the money, right? If you only save month on month, will that suffice? Will that be enough? Is that enough, guys, if you keep saving your money month on month? No? Why do you invest then? You invest so that your money grows, right? And you are able to beat the inflation. 500 rupees today will be nothing 5 years down the road because of inflation. Look at the inflation today. It keeps rising year on year. Okay? Start early, which is why I said even at 13 Warren Buffett felt that we started investing very late. Start early. Power of compounding. Now look at this example. I will not get into very detailed things because we don't have time. If you put 1,000 rupees, guys, listen carefully. Invest 1,000 rupees every month for 20 years. Okay? We are looking at 20 years in a product which gives 12% return. After 20 years, it will grow to 9.2 lakhs. Okay? Imagine the same 1,000 rupees you started 30 years back. What is the amount it has become? 30 lakhs. Look at the difference. The 10 years has made so much of difference. Where is 9 lakhs and where is 30 lakhs? Okay, so the more time you give to your money, right, it will grow exponentially. That is the power of compounding, which is the 8th wonder of the world. Which is why I'm stressing that you start early. Don't wait that, let me settle down, let me start earning, okay? Let me relax for a bit. Then when the time comes, I'll start investing. You don't even have that enough time for your wealth to grow there. One more thing you should make a note of it is time horizon. I said the earlier you start, the better it is. Risk and return. Not every investment will give you decent return. Every investment avenue has a risk attached to it. Okay? Look at the equity market. Look at the stock market. How volatile it is. Look at Trump putting tariffs. Right? How the economy is getting battered because of all of it. So everything has a risk attached to it. Which is why you have to give a longer time horizon for your money to start growing. And guys, tell me something. If you have money today and you want to start investing, okay? What is it that you will start investing in first? Gold? Yeah. What else? They understand gold, they told gold. What else? Mutual fund. Good one. What else? Cryptocurrency, I'm against it. Shares. Right? Now, guys, tell me something. What is your name? Who told gold? Kusum. Suppose you have 1,000 rupees. Kusum, sorry. Suppose you have 5,000 rupees. Would you put the entire 5,000 in gold? Then, who said mutual fund? Who said mutual fund?
Money.
Whoever, if you have 5,000, would you put entire thing in one mutual fund? Guys, will you put the entire thing in one mutual fund?
No, ma'am.
Then what would you do? What will you do? 50% and the rest 50% in? Why are you doing that? You want to divide the risk, right? So you guys understand that is the essence of diversification. Do not put all your eggs in one basket. There is a quote. Do not put all your eggs in one basket. Okay? Put little in gold, put little in mutual fund, right? Put little in any of the government schemes. So keep diversifying it. Right? Now, look at this quickly. These are the various investment avenues available. Guys, read through it and let me know if you can't understand anything. Equity, all of you know. Bonds, all of you know. Mutual funds, all of you know. Government savings scheme, what are these? All your public provident fund, national savings certificate, right? Retirement products, pension scheme, EPF, life insurance, yeah? Real estate, buying the land, buying the flats, okay? Precious objects, gold, silver, collectibles, any art object, okay? Alternate investment. What do you think is alternate investment? Guys, have you heard of alternate investment? Many of you don't understand so many investment avenues today because most of them are categorized into alternate investment. Have you heard of AIF? alternate investment funds. Have you heard of REITs? Real estate investment trusts. Right? So there are various categories of alternate investment. So these are the options available. I am not getting deep into it because we don't have time. Right? Managing debt. Okay? Do you ever think you will be taking a loan? Is anyone using credit card? No? Going forward, will you apply for a credit card? Yeah? Ola Postpaid. Anyone using Ola Postpaid? Lazy Pay. Lazy Pay, anyone using? None of you are using. All of you are blessed. So if you're not using all of those, all the more better, because those are traps where you tend to take credit. Okay, you tend to take credit and you don't realize that you have to repay all of that with a higher interest rate. Try to avoid credit cards, buy now, pay later, all of that to the minimal extent. Okay, so that is how you are going to manage your debt. And the final thing is goal setting and financial planning. So before all of that, before you planning all your finances, you should be clear what are your goals. Your goals can be short term, medium, long term. Give me an example of a short term goal you have. Guys, quickly, short-term goal. What is it that you have a short-term goal? 1 year from today. 1 year from today, what is it that there's a goal you have? What? You want to buy a better phone? You want to go in for iPhone 16, 17? That can be a goal for you. Yeah? Medium term, 3 years down the road. Oh, so early. Okay. Guys, long term, 5 years down the road, you want to get into a good job, get a good salary. Okay? So all that you have to plan now. Write down your goals. What is it that you want to do 1 year down the road, 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road? If you're not clear with that, how is it that you're going to manage your finance? Got it?
You speak there, not within yourself.
Now because the title is Startup Finance today, quickly let me ask, any of you know what a startup is? Someone said no startup. What is a startup? Guys, what is a startup? Give me an example of a startup all of you know. Give me an example of a startup that you know. Yeah? No, give me an example. Swiggy, correct. Swiggy was started as a startup. What else? Ola is also a startup. Zomato was a startup. Zepto, all of these are startups. Now, guys, tell me something. What is a startup? Now you're telling Ola, Uber, Swiggy, all is a startup.
Answer there, not about yourself.
Guys, how do you differentiate startup with a business? How do you differentiate a startup and a business? Someone said something. Correct. A startup is something which comes with a unique idea, right? An innovative concept. Okay? Zerodha. All of you have heard of Zerodha? That is a startup. Google Pay, Paytm. They all came out with a unique idea. Book My Show, right? Book My Show is a startup because they also came out with a unique idea wherein you can purchase tickets for movies, plays, events, everything in one platform. Okay? So that is a startup. Let me just ignore this. Types of fundraise. So when you go in for a startup, how do you get capital? Loan is one thing, correct? If you take a loan, it becomes a debt. Okay? If you put your own money, guys, if you put your own money, think about Zerodha. Who are the founders of Zerodha? Guys, founders of Zerodha. It's a Bangalore-based startup. Nikhil Kamath and Nitin Kamath. Why is it bootstrap? It is bootstrap because they have put their own money in it. They have still not taken any loan. They have still not raised any money from anyone. Till now it is bootstrap because it is still on their own money. Now when do you raise money? You raise money when you want to scale up. Like what Zomato and Swiggy did, right? They raised money because the money they had put in wasn't enough. If they have to enter new markets, if they want to scale their productivity, they need more funds. That is the time when you raise capital. And how do you raise capital? It is either equity or debt. Like all of you watch Shark Tank. You understand what they are talking? What is it they are doing, the judges? They are taking a stake, right? They are taking a stake as a investor, which is an equity stake. Okay, if it's a debt stake, they specify that this is the debt I am giving with so much interest. Okay, so it is a similar thing where you raise your capital. There are different stages, we don't have time now. But the first thing, you either put in your own money or you borrow from your friends and family. Okay, and then you get started with your work. Okay, when you come up with one product and you're able to research on it and you feel that yes, this is the idea you want to get into, you want to scale that, is when you start raising capital. So the next step of raising capital will come when you want to start production in a large fashion. Okay, so you have pre-seed, seed, Series A, B, C, all of these are different stages of financing. And you know dilution valuation, all of you know. When you're giving your stake to someone, you're diluting your stake. Got it? Any questions? Guys? So this is a summary. I hope at least you will start tracking your expenses. If you can't do anything, at least start tracking your expenses. Create a basic budget. Start a small sip. Okay? Now to start a small sip, you should have a bank account, you should have a PAN card. So that you get your demat account. Now the basics of
Sorry, don't talk.
and
2 minutes.
build the discipline before income starts. Okay, so with that note, I close the session here. It was wonderful talking to all of
Thank you. We have concluded this Insight for Personal Finance session. First and foremost, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to Ms. Savita Sharmila for taking her time to be today with us. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, your session was incredibly informative, practical and engaging. You have helped to understand the importance of financial planning and how small, smart decisions can make a big difference in a long run. We are grateful to your presence and valuable knowledge you have shared with us. Thank you so much, ma'am. A sincere thanks to our principal for constant support and encouragement in organizing such a meaningful learning opportunity for us. And I thank my faculty members for coordinating this with all of us. And thank you, my dear students, for active participation and enthusiasm. Once again, thank you for everyone for making this event a success. Now I request